So let's go back to 1983. Cronulla West, Lidcombe Oval, debut. What was going through the nerves of Greg McCallum that afternoon?
Look, the main thing out of that game was that Terry Lamb played in it for West, and the other thing about that was in my very last game in 1994, Terry Lamb was playing for the Bulldogs in the grand final. So that's one of the great things I remember about my career, that Terry played in my very first game, and 282 games later, played in my very last game. No, I didn't send you off. No, Mal Meninga sent you off. Hit you in the head, remember? Yeah. No, look, 83, one of the great things about Bruiser, I came through reserve grade, well, third grade then reserve grade, was just what you did in those days. And blokes like Bruiser and Dallas, and Tommy was in a couple of the games, they played reserve grade. And if you were injured in those days, you came back through reserve grade. You didn't come straight back to first grade. And if you look at some of Dan's old big leagues, if you ever get a chance to look through those, you look at some of those reserve grade teams and they're first grade standard back in those days, and even the third grade sides. And that's one of the big things that we lack in the game now. We lack that stepping stone. And I think it's one of the issues that the NRL have really given up on, and I think it's to their detriment and to our detriment that they don't concentrate on building those stepping stones.
Now they say if you have your 21st and nobody comes, become a referee. So how did you become a referee, Greg?
I got married and no one came to the wedding. So. No, look, I used to play. I played for the mighty Cromer side back in the Manly era and the Forestville Ferrets, and had a great time playing footy. Got called up to grade for Manly, but got glandular fever, so I had to stop playing. Then I went and coached at Cromer, coached the under-7s, and we didn't make the semi-finals, but we went through the second round undefeated. So I was looking forward to the next year, where I was going to coach them again, but one of the fathers was on the committee. So I learned about club politics, mate. I got the sack, and then took up refereeing as a third resort.
Fast forward a few more years, 1992, first grand final, Brisbane St George. Brisbane had a side that were probably 74 times over the cap. St George side, a talented team that probably should have come very close and maybe beat them in 93. When you were given the call up to get your first grand final, did you prepare any differently? Was it a different feeling or just a regular game?
It's a different thing because in refereeing, grand finals are the most important thing. And I was in competition with Mick Stone, Kevin Roberts in the early days, but my main competitor was Bill Harrigan. Bill Harrigan had done 3 grand finals, and I'm looking out the back door of going through my career without doing any. What happened was that John Quayle and Don Ferner, who was looking after the refs, he was on the screen before, they got the shits with Bill because Bill used to go public speaking and bag the shit out of the game. And then Quayle warned him, he said, if you don't stop doing your public speaking and bagging the shit out of the game, we'll stop supporting you. And Bill didn't stop, and then Graham Annesley and I got our opportunity, and we shut Bill Harrigan out for 3 years. And then I thought I'd retire at the end of it so he couldn't knock me off. I did 92, 93, and what you're saying, John, is right. The Dragons had no chance in 92, but they should have won 93. They beat the Broncos twice during the year, in fact thrashed them, but couldn't beat them in the grand final. It was unfortunate. But in 94, Marty Bella's name got mentioned before by Bruiser. The 94 grand final was over from the kickoff, mate. Marty Bella knocked it on. That was the end.
And also too, Brisbane came from 5th in 93 just to make the grand final, so they were on tired legs. You came through an era in the 80s of a lot of criticism and the referees were under the media spotlight. How did you cope with the criticism? I mean, obviously it would have been different in those days, before the days of social media and all that sort of stuff. You're probably thinking, thank God, but how did you cope with, I mean, you would have got it at grounds and stuff like that, but how did you cope being off the field as a referee once you had that profile?
Yeah, it was Greg Hartley and Peter Peters used to tear referees apart on their commentary on 2GB. That was part of what they did. And referees became public people, you know, and before that the referees were in the background all the time. And John Quayle hated it. He used to hate referees being in the spotlight. He used to take our name off out of the program. If you look through the programs in the early 80s, no referees' names are mentioned. And then the other thing he used to do is he used to get one of the blokes on the advisory board to ring our home while we were at training on the Wednesday night to tell our wives where our appointments were. So we didn't even find out who we were refereeing until we got home. And if you walked in the door, you knew where you were going if you're going to Newcastle or somewhere because your wife had the shits, because you wouldn't be going on the weekend.
Referee countless games. Did you ever have a game that was a favourite for whatever reason?
I think grounds are the thing. You know, I used to love refereeing at Redfern because you'd learn something every time you went there. You used to learn plenty of words and things like that. I did a game at Oldham at the watersheddings over where Bruiser played. What a great place that was. I was walking, because you had to walk back behind the dressing room, up a grandstand to get to the dressing room, and this bloke comes up to me. I refereed, I think it was Oldham and might have been Huddersfield or something like that. Yeah, and this bloke walks up to me and says, McCallum, not even the right name, McCallum, you're nothing but a pillock. And I thought to myself, what's a pillock? And I said to the touch judge, is that a good term or a bad term? He said, no, you don't want to know what it was. It's a female, the male version of the map of Tasmania. So I learned plenty of things at grounds, but the thing I did learn is you never said anything back, because the moment you said something back, you lost a fair bit of credibility. As a referee, you know, you've got to keep it like that. As a marriage celebrant, I don't let the mothers of the bride get to me either. So look, you learn how to compose yourself and get on with it. But it was a great experience to be out there on the field and doing something I probably didn't set out to do, but took the opportunity when it came to me, and went to England and had a great time coaching over there as well. So rugby league's a great game. We've got so many characters. I look on the film today, I've just seen two blokes, Scotty Gale and Phil Blake. What great player. Phil Blake was a magnificent player. When was the last time, and it's difficult not to, I don't like criticising the game, but when was the last time you saw someone make a break, kick and chase, catch the ball and score a try? How good was that? You know, it doesn't happen now. But why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't you do it today when the defensive pattern's the way it is? It'd be easy to chip and chase, but the problem is the coach won't let them do it. Coach says no way to do it, so that's the disappointment in the game at the moment.
And you've got a former shirt there, game used TNT shirt.
Now, I don't normally do this, but I've got a big, I'm an ambassador or the New South Wales ambassador to Transplant New South Wales. And we've got our miracle dinner coming up this year in June. If anyone would like to offer me a reasonable amount for that, I'll donate that to Transplant New South Wales. It's something I'm really passionate about.
One heart and two kidneys.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry? Mate, whatever someone would like to do, that'd be great. So, and all the proceeds go directly to Transplant New South Wales. They're my charity. Thank you.
We'll leave you there just for a moment, Greg. Why don't we start the bidding, ladies and gentlemen? Keep it fresh. Game-worn referee shirt. Now, these things are as rare as hen's teeth, or maybe a premiership for St George. I only did that to get a reaction out of Cole. See, the fishing's good here today in Redfern. This, in all seriousness, guys, this is a great cause. The boss of our radio station, Sky Sports Radio, Mario Colotis, he went through a kidney transplant. He was away for like 4 months, and it took him. Ivan Cleary is another one. I'm sure there's been $100. We've got $100 here from Cole Fraser. $100. What do we got? 500, ladies and gentlemen. That is a great offer. $500. $500 for this game-worn TNT jersey. These things you can't get anywhere. You can't go to Peter Wynn's and buy one. You can't go anywhere and pick up a jersey. Even he can't do you a deal with one of these jerseys. There you go. So 1992 game worn. If you go back on the old tapes, you'll probably see Greg wearing it, 1992. We got $500, that's at the back of the room. $500, we can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. $500, I got 500. 500 at the moment. Have I got any bids anywhere else in the room? $500 at the moment. Have a think. It'd look great in a man cave, maybe a gift for a friend, brother, sister, maybe a Christmas present super early, maybe a birthday present, or maybe a man cave at home. It'd be a fantastic conversation piece because no one has ever seen them in public. The only people that probably own them are the referees. $500 going once, $500 going twice. Last and final offer at $500. Sold to the guy at the back of the room. Congratulations, sir. A wonderfully generous donation. $500. There you go, Greg. And thank you very much for your time. You've been a wonderful servant for the game, and thanks for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Greg McCallum. Kurt will come up here on just one moment to give the answers for round 2. Guys, can we just have a bit of quiet, please? Kurt's just about to come up on stage and give you the answers for round 2 of the quiz. But, ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest is in the room here this afternoon. I had the privilege of spending well over an hour in the car with him today. He played for Newtown in 1981. He played for Penrith in the 70s. A wonderful fella, an absolute privilege to be around. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive round of applause for the one, the only, Ray Blacklock. A terrific gentleman, he loves his rugby league. He's got some great stories. It's wonderful to have you here, Bondi. Good on you, mate.
Right, the winners are the Fanatics. The answers are, for number 1, which 2 players were named as fresh reserves for Queensland in the first ever State of Origin game, but did not get on the field? Norm Carr and Bruce Astill. Number 2, who won the 1984 Brisbane Rugby League Premiership? Manly. Which Queensland country town was Peter Sterling born in? Toowoomba. Who was the very first coach of the North Queensland Cowboys? Grant Bell. In what year did Barry Gomersall referee his last ever State of Origin match? 1988. Question 6. Ted Goodwin played 116 first grade games for St. George. Which 2 other clubs did he play first grade with? Newtown and Western Suburbs. Question 7. In their first year in the competition, the Melbourne Storm won their 4 games. Which team ended this streak? Auckland. Which player was the first player to win 3 Dudley M awards? Andrew Johns. Who coached Canterbury Bankstown to their 1980 premiership? Ted Glossop. Question 10. Who was the inaugural captain of the South Queensland Crusher, Mario Fennick? By the way, you cannot win twice. Right, if the Fanatics can come over here and pick... Right, if the Fanatics can come over here and pick 1 prize.
Bulldogs. They're all fucking. There's no magpies. What's going on? Got it. I don't want anything. What's that one? What's that one? Oh, hang on. 1981? September 1981? I got that one on the last one, week before the grand final. Parramatta grand final. I'm taking that one. Yeah, September 1984, a week before the grand final.
Grand finals quiz. Could I grab your attention, please?